In this video, we're going to focus on multiplying polynomials. We're going to multiply binomials together. So you can see here I have 1, 2, 3 binomials. So each of these is a binomial. So these are all binomials, which means they have, bi means 2, so it has 2 terms. Okay, so here I'm multiplying 3 binomials. So you might be like, well, how do I do that? Well, let me just make it simple for you. If I had the number 3 times 4 times 5, I can only multiply 2 numbers at a time. I would have to multiply 3 times 4. I would get 12, then I would have to take 12 and multiply that to 5, and I would get one number 60. So that's the same idea that we're doing here. We can only multiply 2 numbers at the same time. So I want you to think of x plus 1 is one number. X minus 4 is also one number. And x plus 2 is also one number. I just don't know what the number is because I don't know what x is. That's okay. We're not solving for x. We're going to keep this as an expression. So I can only do 2 numbers at a time. So I'm going to take these 2 and I'm going to multiply them out. So I'm going to go ahead. You can distribute them if you want, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do it this way just because it's cleaner. So this is what we learned in the previous video, or reviewed in the previous video. So I'm going to multiply my first binomial times my second binomial. So x times x is x squared. 1 times x is 1x, or just x. X times negative 4 is negative 4x. And 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. So remember, always look at the diagonal to see if we have a peanut, and we have a peanut right there. So this binomial becomes a trinomial. The product of 2 binomials become a trinomial. I'm going to write down what's inside the box, x squared, and then I have negative 4x and x, which gives me negative 3x, and then I have negative 4. Okay? So remember, that was this. So I just simply did that part of the problem. But I have one part that I haven't done yet, and I have to make sure I don't forget it. So that's x plus 2 that's being multiplied there. So now I'm going to multiply. This is one number, it's a trinomial, and this is another number, which is a binomial. So let's just write that down. So this is a trinomial, and this is a binomial, but they're both all just each one number. Okay, so this here, I'm going to say this is one number, and this is also one number. Because I can't simplify them, I don't know what x is. So let's go ahead and multiply. We'll multiply over here. X squared minus 3x minus 4, and here I'm going to have x and a positive 2. I'm going to set up my box, and so now I'm going to do x squared times x, which gives me x cubed. Negative 3x times x gives me negative 3x squared. Negative 4 times x gives me negative 4x. X squared times 2 gives me a positive 2x squared. Negative 3x times 2 gives me negative 6x. And a negative 4 times a positive 2 gives me a negative 8. So now I'm going to see if I have a peanut. I have a peanut here. Those are my like terms. And I have another peanut here. Those are also like terms. So let's write out everything we see. So I have what? I have x cubed, and then I have this and this, which gives me negative x squared, and then I have this and this, which gives me negative 10x, and then I'm left with negative 8. So when I multiply my three terms together, notice that this exponent is 1, this exponent is 1, and this exponent is 1, and I'm left with an exponent of 3 at the very end. So that's very important to notice. When I multiply, my exponents better be getting larger or I'm doing something incorrect. Okay, so I just want to do one more example here. I was going to pause the video and do another on another video, but I'm just going to do this here now. So what happens when I have 2x minus 7y all squared? Okay, this is very important. This is squaring a binomial. So I have to remember that this is going to become 2x minus 7y times 2x minus 7y. I have to expand it. So this is called expanded notation. You should always do that when you have something that's a binomial or a trinomial that's squared. You always write it in expanded notation. So now this is no different than what we've done before. So I'm going to set this up just like I have before, with one binomial on the top and the other binomial along the side. So don't get freaked out that I have two variables. Process is exactly the same. So if I have 2x times 2x, that gives me 4x squared. If I have negative 7y times 2x, well, negative 7 times 2 gives me negative 14. Then I have times x times y. Now I have 2x times negative 7y. So I can do 2 times negative 7, which gives me negative 14, and then times x times y. So that gives me xy. Then I have negative 7y times negative 7y. That gives me a positive 49y squared. So if you notice, my peanut, those are xy terms. By the way, we always do things in alphabetical order, so x comes before y, so that's why I write it like this. So now I'm going to take everything out of the box. So my first thing in the box is 4x squared. I have like terms here. Be careful. These are both negative, so that is negative 28xy. And then I have plus 49y squared. So notice, when I'm squaring a binomial, I end up with a trinomial. So that's very important, 3 terms. If you were to do this, so this is, I'm going to show you what's wrong, and I'm going to show you it's going to look totally different. So if I have 2x minus 7y squared, and you did this, okay, first of all, you're violating the order of operations. You have to do exponents before you can do multiplying. So that's kind of what you're doing here, which is wrong. So you would end up with 4x squared, and then you would get plus 49y squared. Notice how this is totally different from this. You've totally left out your middle term. So this is a big no, you can't do this. Not allowed. So be very careful. Always take things and write it in expanded notation.